The gate lifts. Iron scrapes against stone, and the arena explodes. 50,000 Romans rise at once. Sand trembles under armored feet. Two gladiators step forward into the center of the Colosseum. One carries a short sword and shield, the other a trident and net. They circle slowly. No music, no commentary, only heat, dust, and the roar of Rome demanding blood. Ancient historian Martial described these moments with brutal clarity. The crowd didn't just watch. They leaned forward, shouting, betting, arguing. Lives were decided in minutes, sometimes seconds, and sometimes in ways so shocking that even Roman writers admitted they couldn't forget what they had seen. By the end, you'll understand the real reason these fights kept happening in the heart of the greatest empire in the ancient world. The opening of the Colosseum in 80 AD set the tone. Emperor Titus wanted to prove Rome's dominance and generosity, so he staged games that lasted more than 100 days. According to Cassius Dio, thousands of animals were slaughtered. Hundreds of gladiators fought. Some matches were carefully paired. Others were chaotic. Some ended quickly. Others dragged on in exhaustion and blood. One fight became legendary. A gladiator named Priscus faced another named Verus. They fought for hours under the scorching sun. Neither would yield. Neither collapsed. Martial writes that the crowd grew silent as the battle stretched on. Eventually, both fighters dropped their weapons at the same moment, completely spent. Instead of ordering one killed, Titus did something rare. He granted both men freedom. The crowd erupted. It was one of the few times in Roman history when a gladiator fight ended without death and still satisfied the audience. But that was the exception. Under Emperor Domitian, the games became darker. Night fights were introduced. Torches lit the arena. Shadows moved across the sand. According to Suetonius, some fighters were forced to battle dwarves or women, staged as spectacle rather than sport. Others fought wild animals in near darkness. The goal wasn't fairness. It was shock. Then came Emperor Commodus. His reign turned the arena into a theater of imperial ego. Herodian and Cassius Dio both record that Commodus entered the arena himself, dressed as a gladiator. He killed animals with spears and arrows while the crowd watched in uneasy silence. Senators were forced to attend. Some pretended to cheer. Others kept their faces still, afraid that a wrong reaction might cost them their lives. Commodus reportedly fought hundreds of matches, always staged in his favor. He charged the city enormous sums for each appearance, draining the treasury. The games were no longer just entertainment. They were political performance, a reminder that the emperor controlled not only Rome, but life and death within its most sacred public space. But the most shocking events often involved mass combat. During certain festivals, dozens of gladiators entered the arena at once. Teams clashed. Alliances formed and broke in seconds. The sand became chaos. Roman crowds loved these spectacles because they mirrored warfare. Rome was built on conquest, and the arena echoed the battlefield in miniature. One recorded event under Emperor Claudius involved condemned criminals forced to fight in a staged naval battle. The arena was flooded. Ships collided. Prisoners fought with real weapons. Before the battle began, they reportedly shouted, "Hail, Emperor! Those who are about to die salute you." Whether every detail is accurate or not, Roman sources agree that the event shocked even seasoned spectators. And yet, these games continued for centuries. Gladiators themselves came from different backgrounds. Many were slaves or prisoners of war. Some were criminals, but others volunteered. They signed contracts, knowing they might die, because successful gladiators could earn fame, money, and eventually freedom. In Pompeii, graffiti praises specific fighters by name. Women wrote about their favorite champions. One inscription calls a gladiator the delight of all the girls. Training schools, known as ludi, prepared these fighters intensely. They practiced with wooden weapons, followed strict diets, and lived under constant discipline. Archaeological evidence shows that gladiators received medical care and specialized food to keep them strong. They were investments, valuable performers in Rome's most dangerous theater. But fights could still be brutally unpredictable. A slip, a missed block, a moment of hesitation, and everything ended. When a gladiator fell, the crowd watched closely. Would he raise a finger and surrender? Would he try to stand again? The editor of the games, often a magistrate or the emperor, made the final decision. Spare him, or finish it. Roman writers describe the tension of these moments. Thousands of people shouting, gesturing, demanding a verdict. The decision wasn't always death. Skilled fighters were expensive to train. Some were spared repeatedly. Others died in their first match. The uncertainty kept the crowd engaged. Every fight carried real stakes. As the empire expanded, so did the scale of the games. Exotic animals arrived from Africa and Asia. Lions, elephants, leopards, bears. Some gladiators specialized in hunting these beasts. Others were thrown into the arena unarmed as punishment. The variety kept audiences returning. Each festival promised something new, something more shocking than the last. Historians like Keith Hopkins have argued that the games served multiple purposes. They celebrated military victory. They displayed imperial wealth. They reinforced social order. But above all, they created shared experiences. Tens of thousands of people watching the same life and death struggle at the same time. And this is the key to understanding why these fights kept happening. The gladiator games were not random cruelty. They were structured events embedded in Roman culture. They marked holidays, victories, funerals of powerful figures. They honored the gods. They demonstrated the generosity of emperors who paid for them. Canceling the games risked unrest. Providing them earned loyalty. Even as some philosophers criticized the violence, the tradition endured. Because the arena gave Rome something powerful, a controlled display of danger. A place where courage, discipline, and fate played out in front of the entire city. It reminded citizens of the cost of empire and the value Romans placed on strength and endurance. By the 4th century, attitudes slowly shifted. Economic strain, changing values, and the spread of Christianity all contributed to the decline of the games. Laws restricted certain spectacles. Eventually, gladiator combat faded. The Colosseum fell silent. But for hundreds of years, the arena defined Roman public life. Its fights shocked visitors, inspired writers, and shaped the identity of an empire. The sand witnessed triumph, terror, mercy, and death. And the crowds kept coming back, generation after generation. So here's the question. If you had entered the Colosseum on a hot Roman afternoon, surrounded by 50,000 voices, would you have watched in silence or cheered with the crowd? Write your answer in the comments. And subscribe for more true stories from ancient history.